I'm looking today at Tyler Smith, tackle out of Tulsa. He's 6'6", 333. He is a prospect that really intrigues me. I believe I pulled more tape on him than any other so far. He definitely is raw in some areas, but there, like I said, there's some stuff about him that is very exciting. This is Tyler here. He's going to get over, and we're going to show how athletic he is. He's going to reach this 2-eye, so he can get all the way over to the A gap. Watch this player stunt away from him. Just great athleticism. Flips his hips, gets his hands inside, does so much well there. That's really, really unusual. Again, a very, very big man. Watch that again. He's a nasty, nasty blocker, dominant run blocker when things come together technically for him. I think he relies a lot on his upper body strength, which is substantial, or appears to be. Nice sink there with his hips. He's going to kind of pick this end up, move him. Watch the leg drive here. This is what I mean about everything coming together for him. Just clears that lane for the back. We'll see on this play that his hand placement is not ideal. That's one of the things that he needs to improve, I think, generally. We'll get into that a little bit. But watch his feet here, right? Both hands outside the frame and wide as he has to get outside and reach this 5 technique. Watch his feet. And this is what I meant about him relying on his upper body strength. He's able to kind of pivot around, very athletic lower body, very strong upper body, and completely turn and seal that 5 technique. Watch that again. Here he is versus Oklahoma State. Watch the leg drive. And we talk about players being nasty. That's something that gets tossed around a good little bit. This guy's nasty. Watch him drive this guy into the ground and land on him with both knees. But you can see how powerful he is. Sinks his hips, and there's that torque, that upper body strength where he just pulls him and drives. And then there's the finish. Watch that again. I'll use 2 plays to illustrate how nasty this guy is as a run blocker in particular, but just his demeanor in general. These are back-to-back plays. A reminder of some of the things he's doing well, typically in the run game. Leg drive. Here he's sinking. He's really driving with his forearm, not so much with his hand, but you can see that again, that upper body strength overwhelming the defender. Defender's going to reach out one way or another, get a hold of his helmet. You can see Tyler's not really happy about that. Watch the very next play. It's unfortunate. This isn't the guy that grabbed his helmet. Watch the finish. Clamps the outside arm. Leg drive. Downfield. Turns him. And he's not done. Throws him to the ground. Watch the finish. Probably get a penalty on that, but that's a good illustration right there. Those 2 plays back to back. Appears a very good athlete for the position. Looks great in terms of movement in space. You see him pulling here, getting out on the DB. He also looks great in the screen game. In terms of negatives, one of the bigger things that jumps out is his inability to play with tight elbows. Very often he's giving up his chest to the man across the line from him. You see that here. He's very high off the football. He's going to lose the leverage here. Both hands in his chest. And this shows up more often than you would like. He's going to get ripped down and shed. Watch it again. We see almost the identical scenario play out here. Again, very, very high off the football, losing the leverage battle, opening up his chest, and the defender presses into him. As powerful as he is, you can see him leaning again on that upper body strength. Playing with poor leverage, he's going to get ripped down, and the plays goes for no gain. And this shows up a little bit more than you'd like, for sure. That's something he needs to work on. Again, in the run game, we see him perhaps overly reliant on that upper body strength and leg drive, poor hand placement, wide hands. This is in part what we mean when we say he's a bit raw. This is more of it. He sort of leans and lunges with his chest here. Again, wide hands, or at least allowing the defender to win leverage and hands inside. And he's too big and powerful for this to keep happening on tape where he gets ripped down like that. As we look at him in pass protection here versus Ohio State, you see some of the issues we've mentioned. Not at all what we'd expect to see in terms of tight elbows, wide and high with his hands, or his outside arm in particular. And this is exactly what you'll see in the NFL. If he gives up his chest to this extent, they'll run right through him. The things that he has, the athleticism, the toughness, the strength, the size, you can't coach that stuff. Teaching him to use his hands and working with hand placement, both of those things are coachable. Very similar looking rep here. Again, not tight elbows whatsoever. The defender goes into his chest. Wild hands. He's getting driven back here. Watch the finish, though. There's that upper body strength as he's falling backward. There's just a lot of raw potential with him. Here we see him really working his hands. This is good to see. He's pretty consistent with that outside arm when he jumps in terms of clamping right at the bicep. Nice work here in terms of the syncing up of feet and hands. It's this outside arm that generally is where he needs to get better hand placement inside. But you see where the athleticism comes into play. He's chasing him past the pocket. Really pestering him, really relentless, trying to rework and refit his hands here. Not everyone is orthodox. When he puts it together, he's just awesome. There's that clamp to the bicep. Really nice sync between his feet. And nice mirroring. He's got his left hand inside. Watch him kind of play through the whistle as he is prone to do. We see it again. He's very effective in pass protection as he jumps. There's that punch outside to the bicep, locks him up. I like how he gets on the defensive end and drives him. There's that hip sync. Hand inside or outside arm to the pec. He's just driving this guy upfield. And again, relentless, stays on him. Watch it again. We'll finish off watching him blocking split zone here. Sinks his hips. You see him kind of pick this guy up off the ground. There's the leg drive that we've seen throughout. He's attached. Moving the defender very, very wide of the play. He's a player with just sky-high potential. I'm not sure where he goes in the draft. Somebody could take him as early as the second round, I think. If he's there at the Ravens' first pick in the third round, or maybe if you have to move, you have all those fourth-round picks. There's some talk of him being moved to guard. Perhaps you sit him a year, coach him up, and in a year's time you move Ben Cleveland back to right guard, which is where he played his entire college career. He pulled this guy in at left guard. He solidified the center position, maybe with Bozeman. And you've got a really, really dynamic interior. I'd love to see the Ravens takes a tackle early and maybe double down with this guy.